Rarely do public accounting firms survive 50 years.
Integrity, discipline, and relationship are the three very important things to develop our practice. What he explained is success, but to be more successful, to be a completely successful person, one must be prepared to accept change. There is change everywhere. It's not what is right and what is wrong, what is correct and what is more correct. If you attribute to a social cause, I think you will be making a more.
Hello and welcome. Rarely do public accounting firms survive 50 years, and that too with the founding partner still being at the helm of it. This is longevity of a very, very different order. It's interesting that we have one such firm right here in Chennai, our Bupathy and Co. We are extremely fortunate today to have its founding partner with us. And with him, we will talk about his story and the story of his firm.
Thank you very much, Pattabhi. Definitely, it's an enjoyable moment for all of us.
Sir, you started your practice 50 years ago. Those were the times, the 70s, when I think the best and brightest graduates went on to do either medicine or engineering. Your decision to do BCom and then to do chartered accountancy, was that a conscious choice, or was it an option that you explored because you couldn't make the cut to engineering or medicine?
My father was in business, so there is a flair for doing commerce. When I joined the BCom in Vivekananda College, out of 100 plus students there, every third person said that he aspires to become a chartered accountant. That gave me an indication that's a huge potential for this course, and that's one of the reasons which prompted me to do CA. The second reason, I would say, two of my very close friends in BCom who joined BCom with the intention of doing CA because of their family background were repeatedly telling me the importance and the glory of the CA course. And that influenced me. So I would say it's more a peer influence. Added on to this, my father in business, when he used to interact with service providers and credit suppliers, all of them used to say, whenever there's a crucial decision, they have to consult their chartered accountant and come. That gave me an additional interest to this course, and that's the reason I joined the CA course. But after joining, when I started doing my articles, when I went into our Janakiraman company to do my articles, where the seniors who had to work so hard for the CA exams, gave me a nightmare, definitely gave me a nightmare. And some of them are here. And the two persons who influenced me are also here. I could tell their names, and I'll be very happy to share their names with all of you. Sadhguru Das and R.S. Mani are continuing our association even today.
Yeah, I know both of them. I think they have done remarkably well for themselves. I'll again go back to those early days when you started. I'm sure it would not have been an easy task, because just like you chose CA, you also decided not to go to corporate, which I think was almost a dumb thing at that particular point in time. What was it that made you think that you should start our Bupathy and Co? And how was it during the first few years of practice?
Very important and interesting question. As I told you, since my father was in business and the only son for my parents, there was an intention to stay in one place and consolidate in one place. If you go for a corporate work, then you will be shifted or shunted to different parts of India, which the family wanted to avoid. And therefore, practice, I thought, will help me to stay in one place. And that's one of the reasons I took the CA course, CA practice. Having decided to do the practice, the early days, you asked me a supplementary question. the supplementary question, how was the early days? I would say the first 3 years, 76 to 78, were really very tiring, challenging, and difficult years. The main problem was how to spend time. We had a lot of time at our disposal. We do not know how to spend that time. So I used that time effectively to consolidate on my knowledge. Whatever knowledge we got in college and the CA course maybe was not sufficient to carry on the independent practice. I used it for consolidation and also joined many institutions to network. And I realized that to learn from one person's experience is difficult. If we learn from other people's experience also, it will be useful for us. So I interacted with many professionals by joining many institutions, spending a lot of time there, also money, subscription, and getting to know things about. So this is how I used my early period to consolidate and proceed further.
I just have a takeoff question from that. When did you really feel that, well, I'm doing much better than what my classmates in college were doing? Because they were all working in industry, and industry, I suppose, used to pay much better than what practice was able to generate for people.
Frankly, I did not get that type of feeling at all. That is, one is above the other. I didn't get that feeling at all. But only thing is the sense of satisfaction of accomplishing or being successful in a particular case, which my contemporaries thought was a difficult case, and we were able to win that case or complete it successfully, then I had a sense of satisfaction. The second sense of satisfaction is when we create an organization of our own and we are able to provide employment to a group of people on a continuous basis. That gives me more satisfaction than any monetary benefit which we could compare with. And that's the reason I feel I have done something for the profession, something for the economy as such, or the families of these people who are working with us.
That's a fair point. I think being an entrepreneur naturally adds a lot of value compared to being someone who does 9 to 5, as it used to be called, a 9 to 5 corporate job. So we'll talk about how you built the firm, the growing up years. When you look back today, in hindsight, what do you think helped you build this firm? Was it technical expertise? Was it networking? Or was it pure chance?
You are telling three things, and to do this, integrity, discipline, and relationship are the three very important things to develop our practice. I realize that. And all three are equally important. One is not, more important than the other. But the first thing which one has to focus, according to me, is the building up of relationships. And I would say December 78 to 82 were very crucial periods of my career. December 78, I decided to, or we are part of a team of 8 chartered accountants who formed the Chartered Accountant Study Circle, which gave me a lot of contacts, connections with chartered accountants as well as people from the industry. So building up relationships. So that's how it is. That has happened in December 78. June 79, an important thing in my life is the opportunity to teach.
Okay. I
developed a passion for teaching and I started teaching. At this moment, I would like to acknowledge my friend, classmate R. Shivakumar, who was instrumental or who motivated me to take to teaching. So that went on. So this is how we developed our relationships, and that helped me to build up the practice. 82, we moved to a strategic location just opposite to the institute. Our office moved, so to a strategic location. That also helped us. And then little later, I joined I was invited to be a resource person in Liba, where all the participants were above my age. And all of them from middle level and senior level executives of big corporates at that point of time. So while interacting with them, I got some connections, leads, and we built up our relationship, and that gave me links for growth of my profession.
You said about integrity and discipline. I can understand the discipline part of it. Would you like to tell us what is it that you actually mean by integrity? Because that's increasingly become flexible. And maybe you can give us one example of what you did, which you think represented high level of integrity.
First thing, when it comes to discipline, the time discipline. The second thing is the deliverables. If we say we have to give on a particular time, we have to deliver. And due to any practical reason, if we are not able to deliver, we cannot keep quiet. We have to go back to the client and tell them the good reasons why it has got delayed. As far as integrity is concerned, the first thing which comes to my mind is we have been following and we would like to follow it forever, is that when we do a work for a particular client, we assess the time which is required for doing that work. We value our professional time. And we tell them, yes, this will be our fee for the work assignment. I for one would not ask the firm or would not expect the firm to charge a client based on the benefit which the client gets. The client may get a higher amount. It cannot be in proportion to whatever benefit the client gets or a part of the benefit. It is for the value of our time. This is one thing which we... And second thing as part of integrity is, if a particular issue is there, and if it is not correct, legally not correct, but the client wants to pursue that method, we firmly put across our view to the client. It is not correct. It is not appropriate for you to continue in that fashion. We have to categorically tell them we cannot, for the sake of helping the client or to go with the client, you cannot agree with them.
Would you say that if the client still pushed ahead, you will walk out of the arrangement?
Not exactly. If it depends upon the situation. If it is something which is going to affect our attest function, if something is going to reflect on our attest function, then we will definitely say you have got the prerogative to do it, but when the attest function comes, we will adequately cover it up in our reporting system. In the audit report or whichever report we give, we will adequately make a mention about it to see that we are doing everything as per standards.
Wonderful.
So that's how we...
Wonderful. I would now like to ask you about how you build the team. Because in profession, more so which is knowledge driven, it's so very important to have the right kind of people work with you. So what did you do in our Bupathy and Co. that A, attracted the right kind of people, B, nurtured them the right way, and most importantly, how did you manage to retain them?
Yes, identify, nurture, and retain.
Correct.
I'll have to give you a little bit of background to answer this question. I understood my clientele. I could assess their capacity to pay and what's the future is in store for us, some sort of an assessment. I was aware the amount of remuneration package I could afford to the partners as well as the employees working with us. I knew that it could accommodate only people with who are comfortable with a decent and comfortable living. Anybody who is aspiring for a very luxurious style of living may not fit into this process. The worst criteria which applied is what is the outlook of the person, whether he is comfortable with a reasonable style of living or he wants very luxurious style of living. Second, willingness to learn. In a professional firm, every client comes with a new problem. There should be an inquisitiveness to learn new things. Third thing is whether he is accepting ownership. If there is a problem, he should not say there is a problem. He should come to us with alternative solutions, and we have to decide on the solutions. These were the three criteria which I applied to identify people. By this process, we identified all the partners, and in 1994, when I first stood for the elections, the first time I felt there's a resentment of the clients when we are not able to deliver things in time.
Correct.
So I needed to strengthen the office. So it is at that point of time when V. Tyagarajan, who joined our firm and he became a partner of firm, he accepted ownership and took up a major part of the responsibilities. Therefore, we were able to function smoothly. Later on in 2004 and 2006, when the partnership activities or services improved, C.A. Sangeet and C.A. Purushothaman joined as partners. Little later, our own article students, Martin and Sharif, joined as partners. And when GST came as an outlet or a way of functioning, Balakumari, with more than 2 decades of experience in GST, joined us. Like this, and we understood the importance of technology. So our Coimbatore partner, Jagdish, has got a technological background.
Wonderful.
So we identified like this. And so this is how, and as far as the nurturing is concerned, once we decide on a person, we gave them absolute freedom to perform the work. And we should interact with them on crucial issues and take a call. So the freedom to work, I was given them to nurture them and to retain them, to give them the confidence that the future is secure.
Correct.
We have the context, the ability to get more clients and develop further. So there's a potential to grow. If the confidence is given to them, we could retain them. That's how we did it.
Excellent, sir. If I may say so, you have been an outstanding teacher. The style and texture of your teaching was definitely at that particular point in time beyond compare. I'm sure you must have run into a lot of your students who today possibly may be holding CFO or very senior positions. And I'm sure there must be also your own interns who must be doing extremely well today. Do you run into them at any particular point in time? And how do you feel when you find some of them have done far, far better than what you have done?
Yes, at very many places, I get the opportunity to meet and interact with my former students and former article students. It's always a pleasure to interact with them. And sometimes it used to surprise me when, even in a marriage hall, in the midst of the noise, somebody will come and tell, "Sir, in 1984, I asked this question, you responded like this, you gave this example, you gave this quote, this is the lighter moment you share." They used to remember what we said in 82, 83, 84 and till now. That definitely gives me a tremendous amount of satisfaction. Second thing is, the way they express the gratitude when they come and meet. Any public place, not a single place has gone without meeting former students. In the airport, I was traveling from Dubai to Cochin. I was booked into a business class. I was waiting to catch the flight to go to Cochin. Somebody behind me, "Sir, how are you?" A former student of mine. And the way he spoke to the airline's officials, I knew that he was holding a very senior position in Emirates. And then he also checked in. And immediately after checking in, he called me this side and said, "Sir, wait for some time. I would like to talk to you." Then he went on talking generally about that. And afterwards he said, "Sir, the flight is absolutely full today. And I'm glad that you are traveling. I value today what I am today is because of you. That type of gratitude he expressed and said, since the flight is full, they are upgrading business class to first class. As a senior officer of Emirates, I am entitled for it, but I don't want to use it. You travel it, wait, sir. So he gave it me. That gives me. So like this, there are many instances where people come and say, and teaching profession is the only profession, according to me, which gives the teacher tremendous satisfaction when his students far excel him. The teacher is the person who gets elated. So many people have become CEOs, managing directors, CFOs of large entities, which definitely we have not reached. But I have the sense of satisfaction of making so many people reach that position. That gives me tremendous satisfaction.
Sir, 50 years, forgive my repeating that, is a really long time. And in this period, you would have run into lots of clients. And I'm sure many of them would have stayed the full distance. What is one or two lessons, and if possible with specific examples, that you have picked up from these clients in terms of trust, value, and responsibility?
Yes, to answer your question, there are a few clients who are with us for nearly 45, 46 years. When I say they are, maybe that person is not there, the next generation people are still continuing with us. Very many times, I told you the discipline of time.
Correct.
Maybe it is not there in the beginning part of it. It happened when a particular client comes and we are given a time and we are delayed by 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And then I went and told him, in fact, I could give you this example. The first study circle conference, Sri P. Brahmaya was the chief guest. And we had told him 9 o'clock, and he was there exactly at 9 o'clock. By the time we started, it was few minutes late. In my excitement, I went and shared with him, we are always particular to start on time. In his own style, he replied, yes, it's very good. Few minutes this way, that way, it's okay. In other words, he communicated to me effectively enough that 3 or 4 minutes delay is also a delay.
Correct.
So that is from a professional acquaintance. Similar things have happened with clients also, early days. And that built up the, time consciousness in me, and which we are inculcating in our office also. That is one thing. The second thing is, when a client comes and says, I want this to be done, and if it is not possible, one such client, I said I will do it in 2 days, but it took a longer time. Then I told him, sir, I knew it will take long time, but since you are putting pressure for me for 2 days, 3 days, I accepted. And later on, Bupathy, whenever it is not possible, you have to tell it's not possible. You should develop the ability to sell it's not possible. That is one of the hallmarks. And he was a senior, middle level, he was a senior corporate executive at that point of time. So from the clients, from our acquaintances, from our association with people, we are open to learn new things and incorporate in our firm.
I think that's very good. I'm going to now put out a question to you where, like what you've already done, if possible even more, I want an absolutely honest answer. I'm sure that in the course of these 50 years, there would have been a lot of occasions where commercial expediency and professional value would have crossed each other. Were there any situations where you said, all right, we'll go with commercial expediency, it is okay to bend the law a little bit without breaking it?
Yes, there were many situations in the past where there is a clash between commercial and professional values. It is a very difficult thing to do, where the mind will keep on telling, does not matter, go ahead and do it, go ahead and do it. It requires a strong will to say, I will desist it. It happened in the past, and in the present situation, it is happening more frequently also. There are certain types of business entities who believe that they could get more customers if the chartered accountant puts in a word to them, if he gives a recommendation to them. And therefore, these type of business entities come to us and request us, why don't we have a sort of an arrangement where there will be some referral fee which is given to you for referring certain clients. This is a commercial opportunity. A commercial opportunity which clashes with the professional values. This is what I said, there's a clash. We will be tempted to accept it, but we have been successful and hopeful that we'll continue to be successful in desisting in getting into these type of arrangements, of referral fee arrangements, because personally, I believe that if we start doing it, then there is a possibility to cut corners and to erode our professional values in the future. Therefore, whenever this thought comes to us to accept a commercial proposal like this, we look at the future and say this could create problems for us in the long run, which we should avoid and desist. And we are repeatedly telling within us so that no, we don't commit this mistake at any point of time.
That's good, but I think that was a very easy example in the sense that whether I take up referral work in an area which I'm competent is something that multiple people decide. What I want to ask is something deeper, the elephant in the room, if I might call it that, where professional accountants are called upon to play the intermediary between the client and third parties, people who are in regulation, etc. What's your take on that? Beyond the obvious, do you have something that you can tell the younger generation who will be watching things today?
Yes, I think I answered this part of your question in the earlier question itself. For doing the negotiation, for presenting the case before the department or any authority, or a dispute between two people, we are sorting out the dispute. Whatever is fair to both, we do. And we take into account the time we spend for that, reading as well as finding a solution, time for discussion. We value our time. We value our time. And we say this will be our professional fee. We collect the professional fee, be done with it. We do not say the client has got some benefit, so the fee should be in proportion to the benefit to you. We don't say that at all, and we should not say that also.
No, I had something else in mind, but I think I'll skip that. I'll come back to this itself and ask you, but is pricing or invoicing that you do on a client not based on what the client can bear? If you have given X amount quantum of benefit to a client compared to somebody else for whom it was 1/10 X, can both of them be priced alike even if your time spent is same?
We value our time and get it right. Both of them, it will be the same. We will not charge a different amount for different people. But if it is, the normal fee will be this. If the client cannot afford our fees, and we are genuinely satisfied that this client cannot afford the scale of fees which we have fixed, then in a one-off situation, we decide to give a concession to the person who is not capable of paying. We could give a concession, but we don't charge a client more because he has got the capacity to give more.
So there's only a discount, there's no premium. Sir, we'll now come to your leadership role at the ICAI. You have been in public work at the ICAI for a full period of 9 years. You then went on to become the vice president and then the president. During this entire stretch, were there any points in time where you changed your mind about what the institute can deliver? I'll explain. Let us say I feel that this is what I want the institute to do, and you also felt much the same way. But when you were a council member, did you feel, well, these expectations were too much, we should drop them down?
Yes, there are many such situations. Before I entered the council, my assessment about the profession and the activities in the profession areas was limited to city as well as a few other cities in this state or in this region, southern region. Some of the issues which people at a smaller town or this part of the country raise, and when they raise it to me, I also think what they are asking is genuine and justified, and it has to be taken and addressed. But when we take it to the national level and we put it across the national level, divergent views from all over India comes. And people are able to convince us at that point of time that what decisions the institute is taking at a national level is good for the profession, although it impacts the people in a particular city or a particular region more. So my initial thought was what the member from this particular region is asking is justified. But when it goes on a national scale, and there are very other reasons to accept it at a national level, then we come back to our members and tell them, this is what you asked, this is also I also felt, but for these reasons, at a national level, they had to take the decision, and this is how the decision is being implemented. There could be many other situations like this, which we have encountered during our...
One more thing relating to the ICAI, preferably during your vice presidency or presidency days, or even otherwise earlier, is there one moment, one thing that you did which stands out, which you fondly remember even today and are very proud of?
Yes. Let me tell you a couple of things. The first one is 94, when we entered the council for the first time. I'm not saying, I have to give you a small brief for this. It's not that when we say I do it in 94, earlier people have not done anything. They have done the spade work.
I understand.
But the implementation of it comes in that year. The first thing was done is the introduction of the campus interview for the chartered accountants. So that started, and it was initially done only in the 4 metropolitan cities. And even today it is continued.
Correct.
A scheme of a thought process which was initiated at that time, even today continues in a modified version to suit the present requirements. Second is the students' oratorical contest at an all-India basis. That also was done, and even today it is continued. Third is, at that time when we entered the council, the entire database of the institute was on a system which was outdated, and the supplier of that system had written to the institute saying that it is outdated, and if there is any problem with the machine, don't come to us, we will not be able to help you out. So we had to migrate to a bigger or a better system. That process was initiated, the computerization of the entire institute, and today it has grown, and what people enjoy today as a SSP portal is an offshoot or a developed version of the initial thought process. The fourth is, over a period of time, the quality of the work performed by the chartered accountants has to be reviewed. Therefore, a system of peer review, which was in practice internationally, was sought to be introduced in India. So we prepared this statement and how it has to be done, and we launched this peer review in the year 2003. Of course, during my term as vice president, but the spade work was done earlier and it was launched. And subsequently, the peer review today was started for only large firms. Now it is being extended to mid-sized firms and other entities also. So what we did at that point of time today is able to improve the quality of the work performed by chartered accountants is something which we remember and cherish.
So a lot of young people hopefully would be watching this conversation today, or they would watch it at different points in time in the future, which is how the world today operates. So I want you to tell us as to what does long-term success require, given the fact that young people today, I'm not even saying young CAs, young people today are in a great race to be successful.
Yes, there's nothing wrong to aspire to be successful. Everybody must have an ambition to be successful in life. To answer this question, I will take you to picturize the annual day of an education institution. Annual day, the best outgoing student will be recognized in each discipline. And one such student got the highest marks and he is to be recognized. He is rushing to go and to meet his professor. And when he is about to enter the room of the professor, an alumni of the same institution who studied in the institution, say 10 years ago, 15 years ago, has come to meet the professor, and he was sharing his success story of his designation, success story of his lifestyle, success story of the decisions which he has taken and implemented. All these things he was telling and sharing to the professor, and the professor was acknowledging everything, but was not greatly enamored by what he was trying to tell. And this boy, the present outgoing student, after that boy left, went to him, professor, and said, "Sir, he was telling so many high achievements in life, but your reactions was lukewarm, was not very, exuberant. So, can you tell me, what do you expect of success?" All those things which he said is success, all right. But to complete the success story, to be a complete successful person, if he had said, "I helped a social cause, I created this social institution, I identified the needs of certain people and tried to resolve this," if I added to this to his success story, I would have been more happy. In other words, what he explained is success, but to be more successful, to be a completely successful person, some amount of your time, energy, and savings, if you attribute to a social cause, I think you will be making a more. It's not what is right and what is wrong, what is correct and what is more correct. To be successful, whatever he said is correct, but to be more successful, then he has to do something like this. Certain people have a principle, as a percentage of their income they attribute for a social cause. And if they follow it religiously, then many of the problems on an India map could be avoided.
Professors, I think, are very difficult to be pleased.
Yes.
I'm now coming to the fag end of our conversation. This is my penultimate question. You have been a professor. So please tell us that what is it that you would like the future generation, when they look back, what is it that they would like, what is it that you would like that they remember about your firm? And what is it that you would want the succeeding partners of your firm to do?
Yes, the first thing is one must be prepared to accept change. There is change everywhere. And present day situation, the shelf life of any business is getting reduced. Therefore, there will be as many business disruptions as business founded. So, all the more important, in the years of success, people should be careful in their spending habits. And I'm not saying you be conservative, not pessimistic. I'm trying to be practical. Earlier, if you start a business, you could run it for 50 years. Things are changing now. So if there is a small slip, you should have sufficient back to bear with that. That is one thing. Change, adapting yourself to change. That is very, very important. And if you follow this, I think the future is more secure.
Change, adapting yourself to change. Okay, one starts with a C, another starts with an A. I now step into my final question, sir. It's been lovely talking to you. Just this last question. You have been in practice for 50 years. By any stretch of standard, it's a long time. I would think that somebody would get bored across this period. I'm not going to ask you what is keeping you going. I'm going to ask you something else. I'm going to ask you whether you now think that it is time for you to travel across the world, sit in different beaches, monuments in the world, do a lot of reading, maybe sit and write a memoir, and forget about the profession. This is now done, dusted. I move to the next chapter of my life. Is that something that comes to your mind?
You see, the firm which we have nurtured and brought to this extent, the desire is, we have reached 50 years, the desire is it should continue forever. And as I told you, there are so many changes taking place. At this point of time, with whatever we have achieved over a period of years, if we are able to give our thoughts to the profession, to the firm, and make it stabilize for a couple of years more, then I feel the job is accomplished and we could take the back seat. Therefore, what you said is bound to happen. It will happen. I'm also on the same page. I will also be taking a call shortly as to do, although you said I travel to different parts of the globe, maybe I'm not cut out for that, to travel to different parts of the globe, but do certain things, develop certain other hobbies to keep myself active and energetic even during the post-retirement days.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you will realize that surviving 50 years in an extremely tough and competitive profession requires something far, far more than luck. It requires competence, it requires character, and it requires the ability to create credibility around you. Please join me in congratulating Mr. Bupathy on his wonderful journey that he has had so far and the many, many more years ahead that he will experience new things. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pattabhi.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.